It's going now. Get my phone out. Sorry for all the noise. Well, I'm streaming, and that is going to be what I do today. I don't know. I mean, this is Monday, last week of classes, sort of. I mean, I say sort of because everything's so different now, but that's, we're nearing the end of the semester, so not a whole lot left to talk about for this class. So we'll see. I decide, as I posted in Slack here, I'm going to try to talk about some different alternatives for your homepage and demonstrate some things, but it's kind of hard to plan ahead for this. I mean, I'm going to try some things out that I have not done before or haven't done recently. So it may be a little bit, this stream may be a little bit of me figuring things out as I go, but hopefully that's all right. You may notice I'm in a different corner of my room, and the stream looks a little different. I don't have the nice banner image. I had to, so I was having a lot of problems with this computer, really just the hard drive, and so I replaced the hard drive. I got a new hard drive over the weekend and put in a new operating system, and I like it. It's working really well, except that I'm still trying to get access to that first hard drive. Like it works about 30% of the time, and I was just trying to run a disk repair option on it just now, and it failed. Basically, I had it so it would boot, and I could run things for a little while, and then it would just crash. It wouldn't crash. It would just stop reading and writing. So I would still have an operating system just in RAM in my memory, and so I could use my computer sort of, but I couldn't do anything that required it to create files, and I couldn't create files or edit files. So that was very frustrating. So I got that. That's why I replaced it. But I need that disk to be readable long enough for me to pull all my files off of that. I don't have a ton of files on it that are unique. So if that ends up not working, that's not the end of the world. But one thing I do have on there is those the banner images I made for the streams. So I'd kind of like to get those back. But I might need to do some deeper forensic kind of things to get access to that drive. So that's why it looks a little different. I had to kind of reset up my whole streaming environment here, but it seems to be working pretty well. So, I'm going to just hope that that's the case. Looks like the audio is coming through okay. The bitrate looks okay. So yeah, if of course you have issues or questions about, or if it's not coming through as clearly as it says it is, then let me know. I also tried this version of OBS that I got on this new computer seems a lot better. It seems like it has some features that the other one didn't have, and I don't know why they're different. But in any case, it's working, and I seems to have gone a lot smoother as far as setting it up. So I'm using some noise suppression on the audio, so I don't know if you can tell, but at least I don't know if it sounds any different, but it looks clearer. Like I'm seeing a lot less line noise, so I think that's good, but sometimes I know noise suppression can sound kind of clipped, so I don't know if that's what you're experiencing or not. In any case, it looks like it's loud enough, like my talking is loud enough according to the little thingy going back and forth. All right, so today I'll go ahead and get started. I got a few viewers, so I'll go ahead and get started with some content. So what I'm interested in talking about today is a little bit hard to demonstrate, so that's, we'll see how it goes. I want to talk about some different things you might want to do with your homepage. Last time I streamed, I think it was Wednesday, I talked about how you could use WordPress and kind of reconfigure WordPress to be more of a portfolio presentation of your digital identity. And that involved things like setting your homepage to be a static page and then editing that content. And just kind of being thoughtful about that. But sometimes you don't want WordPress. Like sometimes WordPress is overkill. And so I wanted to show you a couple of, well, probably two options that you might want to consider. And if you've already decided to use WordPress, that's fine. If you are interested in these things and you end up deciding by the end of this video that you're not interested in them anymore, that is totally fine too. I just wanted to give you some alternatives. So one challenge about demonstrating this is that I don't have a domain that I can do this on. So I am going to be doing this in a subdomain, but that's different than what you're doing. Hopefully that distinction is clear enough to you that you can apply what I'm doing in a subdomain to your main domain. But if you have questions, of course, let me know, and I can be happy to walk you through it. So let's make a new subdomain, and we'll pretend like this is my main domain. Demo homepage, main domain. I'll make it something long and ridiculous so I remember to delete it later. And let's see, there we go, success. Oh wait, I can't put it on that domain. Oh god, let me try again. Like, I have all these quick fake subdomains that I plan to delete later, but then I forget to delete them later, so I still have lots and lots of these. So let me just try this again, but actually put it on a domain that I can access, zachwhalen.org. I can't remember if I even registered that, but I was able to set up the site in a way that lets me pretend like I have it. Where's this? There it is. Okay. So I'm just going to put it on DGST101.net as a subdomain, and again, pretending that this is my homepage. So first, I'm going to show you, I'm going to attempt to show you something that I have not tried yet, but I did the other day in trying to help a student, and it seems like it kind of works. So a couple of reminders. So remember, I don't recommend using the site publisher thing, but what I'm interested in creating is something kind of like it, but using WordPress to create it. So let's see, I have not done this, so let's see how this works. When you go into Installatron, remember you go to Web Applications and then View More from your cPanel. And you can see all the things you've got installed so far, and this is all kinds of, backlog archive stuff from old classes of mine. So I'm going to go to the Applications browser. And when you look at the featured applications, of course, WordPress is very popular. I think Big Picture, Dimension, and Highlights, I think these are actually all WordPress as well. I think True Collector and True Writer, I think those are also forks of WordPress, but I'm not going to try those right now. Omeka and Omeka S are their own thing. If between the two, I've been using Omeka S a lot recently, and I like it a lot. But that's for a different kind of website. That's for a collection or catalog or a database. Let's try. I tried Big Picture the other day. Let's try Highlights, and let's see what this looks like. So this is a guy named Alan Levine put these together, and he did actually teach at UMW briefly. I am not sure what he's doing now, but he worked for us for a while. So let's see, we could look at some things about it, but basically it's a configurable WordPress theme. So I'm just going to hit install. You don't really have options yet. Let's see if they come up. But if I remember correctly, this should be a lighter weight. What was the subdomain I just created? So many subdomains. Yeah, I think that was it. Demo homepage domain. Main domain. Okay. I don't know. Well, always remember to delete a directory. You want to keep these things simple, so I'm doing that. But in your scenario, if you were putting this into your main domain, you would of course choose your main domain here. Also, by the way, it doesn't hurt to practice these things on subdomain first to make sure it makes sense, and then you could move it to your main domain. But that's up to you. And again, I can help you work through that if you'd like. Okay, so version 1, I guess. Let's make an actual thing I can remember here. Yes, it's weak. Oh well. And what this is ultimately going to be creating is a simpler website, hopefully, than what WordPress typically gives you. It's going to be like, usually when you install WordPress to make it your main domain, you do that, and then there's all this stuff in WordPress you have to turn off. I think this is going to be a version of WordPress with a lot of that already turned off. That's my expectation. Let's find out. Once this is done, I also want to show you something called Grav, which is my favorite content management system lately. Oh, great. Okay, so let's see. So you notice this is actually WordPress. Let's see if I can just log in here. Yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't actually automatically log you in. Yeah, it's not secure, but I don't want to deal with that right now. Okay, so this is, as you see, a pretty basic dashboard, pretty familiar dashboard, rather. Before we do anything else, let's see what the site looks like currently. And okay, great. So kind of an introduction to it. But what is nice about this, hopefully, that you can see is that it's really just like one page, and everything that you want people to see is right here. This is so you don't have to worry about having your blog post on another page or putting your portfolio on a separate page, and then like, is that your home page? Like, there's a lot of things that you just don't really need to think about that much. But you do need to update this like any other WordPress thing. So I'm going to run the update. I'm also not going to bother with a Kismet right now, but that's something that I imagine you have the ability to do if you want. So let me, update available. Yes, I guess we can go ahead and update it anyway so it doesn't complain. And if you're just joining me, I'm installing something called Highlights Calling Card, which is a lightweight version of WordPress, and I'm showing you this process to demonstrate how you might put a simpler idea of WordPress on your homepage instead of the main or the regular WordPress, which requires you to turn off a lot of stuff and configure a lot of stuff. This one hopefully will be relatively well configured and configurable. Some nice photos. I think those are actually Alan's photos. He does. I think he lives in Arizona now, and he's a photographer, and so you see his work actually lots of places. Okay, great. So I think let's see how they've organized this. So let's take a look at pages. We've got the about and the something else page. Okay, that's not what I want. We've got, oh yeah, so these are posts, and if you remember, these are begin based on HTML5. These are the posts here, and I don't particularly box order. Okay, that tells you where they go in the page, I think. So let's just try to, let me just unpublish. Can I unpublish these? I'm going to switch these to draft so that I don't see them anymore on the home page, but they have not been deleted, just in case I need to get them back. And I'll leave this one called Sunshine, right? Because why not? Okay, great. So it looks like, oh yeah, okay. So this is where if you want to, yeah, okay. So the way this theme works, it looks like there's sort of an introductory kind of jumbo text here, and then I guess the begin just probably scrolls you down into this, and then here's a post where you could say a bit more about you, and that might be kind of all you need to do. So let's figure out how to adjust the text that shows up first. Site identity probably? No. Header image. Okay, great. Yeah, these are nice. These are definitely Alan's, or he goes by the name Cogdog. Latest post, that's actually probably fine. Latest post is what we have. Here we go. Okay, so this is the part where you might want to, where you can add some stuff here. So Zach Whalen. Right, so a digital studies student at UMW, or well, we should spell things out. Just making a way to the web, something like that. Okay, kind of cheesy, but that's okay. Yeah, great. This is it. So, and as you can see, you can use HTML tags in here. So if you wanted to link to this, I know we haven't covered HTML in this class, but this is HTML. We usually do cover HTML in this class, by the way, but obviously things changed. I think just looking at this, I might like to tweak this a bit, just the design of this, because you can see that sometimes the background image interferes with the foreground text, depending on what's there. Like you can see, just making my way through the web is a lot easier to read than digital studies student because of what's in the background. There's a couple ways you can fix that. You can put an outline around the text, or you could maybe put a black bar maybe around it, which is kind of harsh looking. So I don't know, maybe it's not that important that people read this text, but just, you want to think about contrast, and that's tricky when you have nice images in the background like that. I don't know, there's a couple ways to tweak that, but I don't want to get too wonky with this demo. or do I? Let's just try one little tweak. So cascading style sheets is the other language that goes with HTML, and it controls how things look on the web. And it's usually shadow effects. That's what I want. So the thing with CSS is that it's a pretty, I don't want to say intuitive, but it's a nice language to learn. Once you learn it, it's pretty good. But sometimes just remembering complicated things like shadow stuff, I just Google it, and that's what I do. So let's see. So this is, what do we have? Okay, so CSS is something that you can adjust usually within the theme. Let's see if we can do this without having to add a plugin. Yeah, okay. Additional CSS. There we go. So there's also a plugin that you can get just for, oops, that's something else. There's usually, there are lots of plugins you can get for CSS, and it's nice to have it kind of built in right here. Okay, so did that work? It should make the change immediately. It looks like it is. So 2 pixels, 2 pixels, 4 pixels. Those are, I think that's the 2 pixels is the offset, like how far away from the text to go, and then the 4 pixels is like how much of a spread to do. So we can make that a bit more noticeable by increasing these numbers, I think. But to make it look more like a glow, they should be roughly symmetrical. Yeah, that's pretty good already. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I think if I were really designing this as my site, I would probably spend a bit more time. Okay, so here it is before I make that change. Let me refresh it, and it should look different and hopefully better. And it's a different image, so it's harder to compare. But yeah, let me see if I can get back to I'll refresh it until I get back to the Canyon image, and then do a more. Oh, come on, I guess it's randomized, so. Come on, get back to the canyon. Not that canyon. Not that canyon. Where is it? Every time. Well, maybe if I scroll. See, there's a sunflower too. I mean, it's random, but it keeps picking the same ones. Well, it looks a little better. That's the point. It's ridiculous. There it is, finally. Okay, so yeah, you can see it's a little bit better over here on the left, and that's all. I mean, it's made a slight tweak with the CSS. All right, so if I wanted to actually make this my site, I would probably not need to do a whole lot more. Remember, I'm trying to keep this pretty simple, right? So this is an option. Let me go here to edit this page, and then this is where I might include a link to a portfolio, or maybe, say hello, and then, write something about myself here. This is obviously maybe a picture and a link to my portfolio. That's all. Keeping it simple, right? And let's go back to the dashboard and see if there's anything else we can do. Because I noticed there was a nice looking social menu. Oh yeah, great. Okay, so Splot? What is that? So this is going to be the menu that appears here at kind of the bottom. So this is like if you do have Twitter, and what is this? What is Splot? I don't know Splot. I still don't know. Oh, this looks like, what is this? It looks like another project by Alan Levine, maybe, or collaborating. Well, anyway, whatever they are, that's where they are. And so this is a special kind of menu that is going to show up
in that location called the social media menu. This is different. Whenever you make a menu, you have to tell it where to go. And this menu was called socially, but you can call it something else. Social media links. It's kind of confusing because of how many steps there are to this process, but you have to create a menu. You can name it whatever, but you have to create it. You have to add content to the menu, and then you have to add that menu to a location. So you have to put it somewhere. You have to make it, design it, put it somewhere. And this one just gives you one place to put these. It doesn't have a top level, what's usually called a primary navigation menu. It doesn't seem to have that in this theme because I think the expectation is that this is not going to be a complicated website. It's just going to be you and some of your content. So that's how you might use that. And that was, obviously didn't take me very long. That's highlights? I mean, so if you're thinking about this kind of thing, this is maybe a pretty good option. I don't think I even had to turn off comments or anything on it, did I? Of course, you'd want to change the title of the site and your user profile, but I don't think there's. I'm pretty sure that they're going to. Yeah, we don't want that. So you still want to turn this off. But yeah, otherwise pretty simple setup. A little bit easier than a normal WordPress. You don't have to do quite as much configuration. Okay, so I got to that again. This was in the featured applications. That was highlights calling card. I think dimension and big picture are probably going to be similarly kind of simple and very much image forward. And I'm sure you could change out the images with other images if you prefer, if you have your own, for example. So great, I'm going to move on to something different now, if that's all right. And then that'll probably be all I do for this stream. Again, these are just options, and so I just want to give you some ideas and make sure that if you ever need to consider this, then you will at least know where to start or what kind of terms to look for. So we're going to do something a little different here. Let me get back to my cPanel. Oops, that's not how we do it. How do I get out of Installatron? I don't remember how to get out of here. Okay, there it is. So this is, I guess, yeah, I took kind of a weird route to get here, but that's fine. This is my cPanel. So I'm going to make another subdomain, yet another homepage demo. And I'm going to demonstrate something called Grav. And this is going to be a different way to get here. I'm actually not going to use Installatron for this because the version that, well, I guess I should check, but the version of Grav that is available through Installatron is pretty far behind the actual current version of Grav, and so it's, I think, a little bit just better to get the new one. Let's see, make sure I did that. Yeah, let me just check. And you can see here this Digital Studies 101, that actually is, what is that? That is a Grav site. The Grav has this little space guy as their logo. Which one is this? Oh yeah, that was last summer that I set up. Okay, so maybe let's just try the Installatron version, and if it's super far behind, then I can start over again, but you'll probably find it easier to work with Installatron, so let me do that here. So let's go in here to find Grav. All right, so this is down here in the not featured, but it's in the content management options here. There's a lot of these other ones I've used in the past, like Known. It's okay. I used to use Drupal a lot, and yeah, I don't anymore. So I mean, I do for a couple sites, but not that much. All right, so let's take a look at Grav. And the thing is, with Grav, the terminology is kind of different and the way it works is kind of different, but ultimately what you end up with is super fast. So it's what's called a flat file content management system. You don't really interact with it this way or think about it much probably, but with WordPress, whenever you create a post, you're writing in a PHP-based editor that's creating content, and then it's sending that content into a MySQL database. And then whenever you view your blog later, the browser like directs WordPress to go into the MySQL database and then pull that blog post out and then render it on the page. That sometimes takes a couple seconds, and sometimes a couple seconds is too long. Sometimes, depending on the size of your site, that might take a minute or so, and that's been the case with one of my sites. And with DGST 101.net, actually, it's gotten better, but I think I'm not sure why, but the upgrades to the versions of WordPress have gotten a little better, but that whole process of loading content just takes way too long, like 30, 45 seconds. Like it should not take you that long to load a web page. So that's why I'm switching DGST 101.net over to Grab. I'm in the process of doing that. It's taking some time. Just basically, I need to rewrite all the content. And I'm adding some nice features to it, or things that I think are nice. Anyway, so Grab instead, everything that you write is simply a plain text document on your web server, and all Grab does is it takes that and runs that through a template. And so it's already there. It doesn't have to go into a MySQL database and exchange credentials and then come back with it and then render it. And it's a much faster process, and it takes up a lot less space on your server. So I like Grab for those reasons. The thing with Grab is that it's actually like lots of pieces that need to fit together and lots of templates that need to refer to each other. And setting it up from scratch takes a lot of work, actually. What Grab does is they give you what they call a skeleton, which is actually, it uses terminology sort of similar to WordPress, where you have basically themes and plugins, but the themes and the plugins really need to work together. And skeletons are pre-configured packages of themes and plugins already configured to work together. So if you're trying Grab out for the first time, this is definitely where to start. Like, pick a site, and you'll see some of these themes actually look the same as some WordPress themes. That's on purpose. Sometimes theme designers will make a generic theme, and then content management programmers will just adapt them different themes to every platform, like every CMS platform that they have. So you'll see some familiar things in here. But that's definitely where to start if you're going to do it yourself. But let's see what Installatron gives me. Basically, I want to make sure it's giving me a skeleton and not just a raw unconfigured one. So let's put it here, take that out, accept the licensing. Yeah. Okay, so is it actually giving me options? 1.6.21 is the version. What are we up to here? That's not too bad. It's only 2 versions behind. Oh yeah, okay, so great. We do have the option to choose a skeleton. So let's go with 20. Or no, let's do resume. Yeah, let's do resume. I don't know this one, so let's try it. Keep the default Grab editor. Yes. Okay. Go ahead and change this here. All right, great. Let's see how this looks. So it doesn't have to create a dashboard. It doesn't have to do all, it doesn't have to go into the databases at all. Okay, where did I put that one? Is this going to be alphabetically organized? Here it is. Okay, great. Resume not downloadable. Okay, interesting. So yeah, Grab has a steeper learning curve, and it usually has things you need to spend some time figuring out. This one, it apparently was not able to actually get the resume skeleton. So let's just see if I can do it myself. I don't remember seeing this one called resume. Oh, here it is. Huh. I'm not super fond of that design, but I'm going to try it anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Should I try that one? Or I think you'll probably find 20 much. Let's try 20. I think 20 is going to be more likely to be useful. Though the resume could be interesting. Okay, so I'm going to save this file, and this will be a little bit different because I'm going to bypass Installatron now. And this is the kind of thing where I'm going to go through several steps. There are several steps to this. It's going to look easy in the sense that I already know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to go through it. If you try this yourself, you may find yourself lost a little bit, and that's okay. It's something that's easy for me because I've done it so many times. If you try this and you find it doesn't work as easily as it appears to work for me, then that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It just means that you're doing it for the first time. And so, of course, it's going to take you a couple tries. So, poor squirrel. There's a squirrel in our backyard, and he has a messed up tail, and it looks worse and worse every time I see it. It just went by the window. The kids have named him Bubbles. So there's Bubbles. Okay, so this is my file manager, and the file manager is where I can access the files and folders of my website as a computer, because that's what it is. So over here on the left, you can see all of the subdomains, or lots of the subdomains I've made in domains, and it's a big mess here, obviously. So whenever you make a subdomain, it'll show up as a folder, and the contents of the folder are what you're going to see if you go to that subdomain. So this one was, yeah, a lot of tabs here. This should be it right here. Yeah, so yet another homepage demo.gst101.net. So this is probably broken because it failed. Yeah, okay. So this is Grav trying to get me to log in and create a profile. I'm actually going to delete this whole Grav, so I'm not going to log in here, but that's basically what you would expect. You'd see this here. But all these files here are what create Grav. I'm actually going to delete all these so I can show you how to do it kind of the hard way. So I'm literally just going to select all of those and then hit delete. And there they go. Okay, so hopefully that was the right folder to delete things. Yes, okay. So remember, I downloaded that archive, that zip file of the 20 skeletons, so I need to find it. There it is. I know you probably couldn't see that window, but that was just popping up on my computer where I could upload it from, and this is going to put it in here. So this is now a content management software. Like this is this is it. Right here in the editor, it's probably easier ways to do this, but this is what I do. You uploaded the zip file. It is a lot of files, but they're all compressed or contained as one. So you can upload it as one file, which is a lot faster, and then extract it on the server using this file manager thing. So you hit extract, and I'm going to put all these there. Yes, and then there they go. All right, so I put all these into a subfolder, which I didn't want it to do, actually. I should have read that more carefully, but that's okay. We can move them out. One thing we want to make sure if we do this is that we can see the files that start with a dot. Those might be hidden by default because a lot of computers and file managers assume you don't need those, but in fact we do need those. So make sure that you're showing hidden files right here. You can go click on the settings and then show hidden files. If you can't see them, you can't select them, so you have to make sure you're seeing them. And what we're going to do now is just select all this and then move it up out of this subdirectory into the main directory of this subdomain. I know I'm using a lot of similar words here, so hopefully you can follow, but if you want to do this, I can walk you through this step by step. But I'm going to just move this over here now into this subdomain. Yeah, so this looks about like what we had it before. I don't need this folder anymore, so I'll just delete it so it doesn't confuse me. And I also, well, I'll keep the skeleton zip on there just in case I need it. Okay, so here we are. Back to this. This should look the same actually. Oh no, okay, great. It took me actually to the site. So this is pretty cool. So this is 20, and this is a okay. This is a nice, what's called like a one-page site, a landing site. So to log into your Grav, you have to go to /admin, and this is if you have the admin thing, and I don't seem to have that working. Why not? Sign up. Why doesn't that work? Do I not have the admin plugin? Huh. You would think that the skeleton would include the admin plugin. Well, I can get it, but I'm disappointed that it did not come with that. So let's see why. That's where it should be. I think that's where it should be. Let me just double check with another. Another Grav site I have working right now, so that should be in my user folder, plugins, admin. Yeah, huh, that's strange that it didn't include that. Well, that's okay. I mean, it's just you can add. I don't know. That's odd that they didn't include that because that's the most popular plugin. So, I mean, as you can see, this is the one that pops up first. So let me just go ahead and do this too. Sorry, this shouldn't take this long. This is just what I'm doing. I didn't want to see documentation. Just download it. I just want to download it. Where's the download link? Let's see. Okay, well, just give me the download. I know what it is. Where's the download? I don't want to have to go. Yeah, they always want you to do this like command line setup stuff, and that's great if you have access to the command line, but you do not as a user on this. I know I need to. Okay, here it is finally. Okay, so this is it finally. But like I was saying, as a user of UMW domains, you do not usually have access to the command line, and so all of the advice about using command line to install things does not apply, or you can't. So anyway, I'm going to do this kind of the hard way. I don't know why they wouldn't just include this, because it looks like they've included all the other plugins that it depends on. So I don't know. Again, I can walk you through all this if this is something you want to try. But let me get into the dashboard of. I want to get to the point of having the dashboard for Grab, so you can really kind of assess if it's worth all this. So, and it may not be, honestly. I mean, it's something I like a lot, but it's not for everybody, I guess. And, you know, if you like something different, no reason to stop using that, probably. Okay, so let's see. I just need to rename that one. Okay, so now hopefully I can go here to actually get the plugin. Required plugins is missing. Login, form, email. Do I not have all those? Oh, I don't have login. But I have form and email. So I guess I need one more plugin. This is how it goes. Which one? Login? Is that the one I need? I mean, once you get the admin, I mean, ironically, once you get the admin plugin actually installed, you can install plugins with it automatically, and that's the nice, you know, that's a lot more convenient than all this. But this isn't too bad if you know what you're doing. It's just if you don't know what you're doing, it's kind of a lot. Just a lot of steps, a lot of clicking. Okay, so log in. So while I'm doing this, by the way, I wanted to mention a couple of things. So, yeah, there we go. Just real quick, to the 70 of you still watching, I don't know what you have planned for the summer. You may have noticed that we had to lose some sections. We had to cancel some sections in the fall of classes that are part of the Digital Studies minor and the Common Digital Studies major. Obviously, we didn't want to do that, but that was, you know, because of all of the things going on, financial problems of the university. Basically, we had to cancel some sections. I mean, there's a longer version of it, but the long story short, we had to lose some sections. We, however, were able to add some sections over the summer, and so if summer courses are an option for you, there are some new courses available in the summer that have just become available to register for. I think on Fridays when we got those up. So if you have not yet checked that and you're looking for more electives, especially, we were able to add 2 DGST 301 classes over the summer. So these are upper level electives for CDS, and so those are the ones we got to add. Were I'm adding one called DGST 301A, which is creative coding, where you can learn how to write some code that will create things like novels and poems and screensavers and interesting things like that. It's a fun class. It's a creative class, and it is a programming class. I mean, we do learn programming, but it's not you don't need to know it ahead of time. I'll give you the things you need, and it's a good, I think, anyway, a good introduction to how to do stuff with code. So I like it a lot. So that's in the June-July term. I have to make sure I'm typing this. Hopefully that's right. So that's my class. The other one that we've added, the other 301 is, I think it's 301F, but it's documentary filmmaking by Jesse Stommel. So I would recommend that as well. That's going to be the 8-week summer term. There are actually several different summer terms, and his is in the 8-week one. It starts on the same day as the May-June term, I think. But you have until then to register for it. So if you are interested in documentary filmmaking, then check that out. All these classes are online. What is this? Oh, come on. I don't need to know that. I know this. You didn't like my password, and I can't read the message about what it expects. So I'll try the more complicated version. Hopefully that's going to make it happy this time. Yeah, we'll go ahead and save that. Okay, here we are finally. So this is finally the Grav dashboard, and here we are. Okay, so a big difference once you're here with Grav is that everything is a page for Grav. Like even pieces of the layout are all what it calls pages. And this is a skeleton, so it's come with a configuration already. And these are pretty well named. So like this is the home page. These are the sections of the home page. This is the left sidebar, right sidebar. Probably within the theme configuration, there might be some options in the theme. No, there's not. Okay, well, you can change the color, and that's it. But let's see, what else can we do here? Yeah, you can do a couple things, and just sort of exploring around is usually fine with this. But the main thing we'll want to do is probably change some things on the home page, which is here. So this has a lot of these sections, and each one of these sections is going to be editable right here. So this one, 20, must be the banner. And yeah, this one actually they wrote HTML in it. So you can write HTML if you know HTML. If not, stop yelling. If you don't want to write HTML, you can write what's called Markdown. So that's a simplified version of HTML. It looks like there is also a WYSIWYG editor for this now, but I don't use it. But this is, yeah, these are just the sections. And so if you don't want all these sections, then you can delete them with this button here, or you can probably unpublish them. So that'll take that off, and then, you know, I recommend unpublishing because it sometimes is not clear what a particular piece of content does, and so if you unpublish it, you can bring it back just in case you need to. So I don't know, that was not a great demo of Grav, but that's I don't want to go on any longer. So anyway, that was, I think there are some other options that are nice besides WordPress. In terms of, for example, commenting, like if you install WordPress, it's going to come with comments by default, and you have to turn them off, and you have to install Akismet. Grav does not come with comments at all. Like you can add them if you want, but it's an option that you have to kind of opt into, and if you want, great, but if not, don't add it, and you don't have to do that. But if you go, you can add, this is the normal way you would add a comment, or add a plugin, right? I mean, once you have the admin plugin, you can install other plugins with it. And it works pretty similarly to WordPress plugins. You just search for them in the dashboard and then add them if you want them. But I don't want this particular one, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, I like Grav a lot. I think it just sort of takes some adjustment to get used to it. If you want to use Grav for blogging, for example, you have to create what's called a blog modular page and then add items to it, which is the terminology is really the thing that trips people up with that. You have to add, like each post is what it calls an item, and then each item is a child of the blog, and so then it shows up as blog posts. So yeah, that's not always intuitive to people. But otherwise, it's, you know, it's fine. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap this stream up, and then I'll do another version of this in a few minutes. Thanks for watching. If you did, again, think about other things besides the default WordPress universe. I know that we use WordPress a lot at UMW, and lots of people use WordPress a lot at other places too. It's a great platform. But there are other things, and I like to know about other things and use them whenever they have advantages. Graph has certain advantages, so I kind of like it. All right, well, I think that's probably good for now. I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for watching, and I might do another one of these on Wednesday and Friday. We'll see. We're in the last week of classes now, so at the very least, make sure you set up an appointment to chat about your domain. That can be text or video, whatever you prefer. But try to get that done this week or next. And you have to get it done this week or next week because that's all we have to work with. But the sooner the better, so we can get these done. I've met with lots of you already, which is great, but lots more still to go. So please make those appointments so we can have that conversation. Okay, great. So we'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.